Good day, Carinites. Welcome back to class. As you all saw on the mannequin, we'll be making this suit dress today. I saw that you loved the two-piece, yeah? So I decided to make something, you know, more sophisticated and more beautiful. And yeah, we have this. It is so pretty. You saw it on the mannequin, so I don't even need to brag about it. So we have a two-piece set using the same stitch and also almost like the same design, but it's in two-piece. So this is the waistband in case you're interested. This is the pant, and this is the details we added at the end. Look at that brim, very pretty. And here is the jacket, and this is what the jacket looks like. So in case you're interested, I have the pattern for all these outfits available. Kindly check the description box to purchase, to support. And also, if you're not yet a subscriber, as you can see, we have loads and loads of interesting and amazing tutorial on the channel. Go through the channel, you see what I'm talking about. So I believe you will click that subscribe button to join the family. And also, if you find the video useful, please give it a thumbs up and drop a comment. And yeah, so you can support by subscribing to my membership plan. So that being said, so let me put this aside. We are focusing on this beauty. So I will take you through the materials we'll be needing, and we are just going to get started. So here are the materials we'll be needing. Ball of yarn. I'll be using yeye. It's quite thin. You can work with a medium weight yarn because we want something thick and that can give us structure. You know, it's a suit like design, so we want something firm and steady. So I'll be working with 2 strands, and for this suit dress I used about 6.5 balls. Yeah, and this is for size 1 year, 6 to 12 months, 1 years old. So if you're making for a bigger size, you might need more ball of yarn, and if you're making for smaller, you might not need up to that, but I used 6.5 balls. So that being said, the hook size I used throughout the course of this tutorial is size 4.0 hook, 4.0. We'll be needing stitch markers, very important, very important. We'll be needing tapestry needle to weave in our hands and also to attach our buttons. You'll be needing pair of scissors. You'll be needing measuring tape, very important. And also we'll be needing buttons. As you can see, I used a dozen, 12 pieces in total. This right here that we have around the cuff is quite optional. You can decide not to have to put it. If you have 6 buttons, that will do. You need not less than 6 buttons because this is a dress, so you need more buttons around here. So but for me, I used 1 dozen in total, 3 here, 3 here, and 6 in the front, as you can see. And also you'll be needing a notepad and a pen, because we'll be taking some measurements and doing some few calculations, just little calculations, not something too serious. So that being said, these are the materials we'll be needing. So let's jump right into the tutorial. So to kickstart our what's it called now, our dress, our double-breasted dress suit, the suit dress, anyone. So we are going to be needing some few measurements that we need to consider. So we need to consider the waist round, the hip round, sorry, the hip round, the waist. Not very important because we are definitely going to make some reduction to give us that snatched waist. And also we need the shoulder to shoulder measurement. Now we are not working with our chest round measurement. We don't need chest round. We only need our shoulder to shoulder because we want the top fitted. We don't want it just, and we want our the sleeve, we want it well structured. So shoulder to shoulder measurement. I'm working size 6 to 12 months, so that's size for 1 year. Yeah, so after that we'll be needing armhole measurement, and also we are going to be needing our sleeve length, and also the total length of the dress we are making. Maybe you want the dress to reach the nail or top of the nail, or you want it longer. That depends on you. So dress length. So we don't need everything at the moment, but we need some few this thing to work with. So for the dress length that I'm making a length of 17 inches. For the hip round, I'm working with is 21 inches. The waist, like I said, the waist is not that very important, but I think the waist is around 19 inches. 19 inches. Shoulder to shoulder, from the back, the shoulder to shoulder is around 7.75, or approximately, let me say, 8 inches. That's the shoulder to shoulder at the back. So the armhole is 9.5 inches. I'll be leaving some few size charts on the screen. So, and for the written pattern, I have I have the size chart there for up to 5 years. So and the sleeve length I'm working with is 12 inches. So these are all the sizes we'll be needing, the measurements we'll be needing, sorry. So right now we are going to be starting with, remember, it's just like the way we did our blazer, the jacket. We are going to be making a back panel first. Then for the front panel, we'll be making two pieces. For the front panel, we'll be making the left flap and the right flap. So both will be on top of the back panel. I hope that makes sense. So I'm trying to give you the structure of how the structure of the dress, how we are going to be making it. So these are the front flaps. So we are going to, for the back panel, to make our back panel now, we are going to, our hip round measurement is 21 inches, right? So we are going to be dividing that by 2. So we are going to have 10.5, yeah? So the wideness of the back panel is going to be 10.5, and the total length is going to be 17 inches. Yeah, so same goes with the front panel, but remember the front panels we are making 2, so 10.5 divided by 2 for the front panels. Now the back panel is 10.5, but for the front panels, remember we are making 2 pieces, so we'll be dividing the 10.5 that is left for the front panel, we'll be dividing it between these 2 panels. So 10.5 divided by 2, that should give us our 5.25 for each. 5.25. But we are not working with the front panels now, we are starting with the back panels. So let's just focus on that to avoid, what's it called now, to avoid confusion. So let me show you the back panel I've made so you can see what I'm trying to say, so that you can understand what I'm trying to explain. So this is my back panel. So this from the base, we are going to work from down up. That's how we are going to be working our pattern. So this is the base. You can see I did my work, and look at that snatched waist. Like I said, I wanted something that has structure. So we have the waist snatched, and this measurement is for shoulder to shoulder measurement. So this is what we have. So I'll be taking you through how you're going to work here as well. As you can see, that is long. So this is the total length of what my dress will be. So I'll put this aside, and we are going to start with our horn. So to kickstart, we are going to make a chain that is around 10.5 inches long. So we need a chain that's around 10.5 inches long, and make sure that your foundation chain is an even number. That means any number that is divisible by 2. So I will go ahead. So to kickstart, you're going to grab your yarn. So I'll grab my yarn, I'll make a knot, slip knot, then I'll grab my 4.0 mm hook, then I'm going to start making chains. 1, 2, 3. So I will go ahead and complete my 10.5 inches. I will come and let you know the number of chains I did, and also take the measurement with you. Okay, since I'm just showing you, I'm just demonstrating it. I just made 20 chains, but for my own back panel, I started with 46 chains. So I started with 46 chains at the base. So like I said, it just work with your measurements. If you are working for 0 to 6 months, your hip round should be around 20 inches or 19. You can do 20 to give it a little space. 20 inches. For me, I'm doing 6 to 12 months, which I'm working with 21 inches. If you want it bigger, please go ahead and add more inches. If you're making for 12 to 18 months, I would suggest to work with around 23 inches. And if you are working for what's it called now, from 2 to 3 years, I'll suggest to work with around 25 inches. These are suggestions. And remember that baby sizes or toddler sizes are quite different. So if you want a perfect fit, I would suggest you get the toddler's measurements so you can work with it. So that being said, like I said, I chained 46 for my own back panel, but for the demonstration I chained just 20. So as you all know, 20 is an even number. Remember, you must have an even number. So after that, remember, for our suicide stitch, we are working with our suicide stitch. You will always skip the first chain. So this is the first chain, I'm skipping that. So moving on to the next chain, which is this, you are going to be working a single crochet. So you go into your chain, you pull out a loop, and yarn over and put through two. So that's our first single crochet. You move to the next, you pull out a loop, you have two loops, you yarn over, you put through two. That's our second single crochet. You go into the next, pull out a loop, yarn over, put through hole two. So that's how you work your single crochet. So you go ahead and work single crochet into all of your chains until you get to the very end. So this is what I have after working my single crochet row. Look at that. So after that, we are now going to start working our suicide pattern. So to do that, you are going to chain one and turn. We are always going to start with one single crochet in the first stitch, then a double crochet in that same stitch. You will skip the next stitch and move to the next one, the third stitch, and repeat the same thing. One single crochet, then you go back and add one double crochet into the same stitch. You will skip the next stitch and into the next one you will repeat the same thing. One single crochet, one double crochet. You skip the next stitch and into the next one you repeat the same thing. Single, then double. So I will go ahead and work this. When I get to the end, I will come and show you how we are going to finish the row. So this is what I have. So working to work my last stitch, as you can see, I have two stitches left. We are going to skip the next stitch, and into the very last one we are only going to work just one single crochet. We are not adding double crochet to it, just one single crochet, and we have our row done. So we've completed row 2. So moving on to row 3, it's just a repetition of what we just finished. You will always chain one and turn. So into the very first stitch, which is the single crochet, you're going to work a single crochet, then you will go ahead and add a double crochet into that same stitch. And after that, you skip the next stitch, which is the double crochet stitch, and into the single crochet stitch. We are always going to be working in the single crochet stitch. So you skip the next, and into the single crochet you work single, then double crochet. You skip the next stitch, and into the next one you repeat the same thing, single crochet and a double crochet. Again, you skip the next stitch, into the next one, which is this, you work a single crochet and a double crochet. So this is going to be the repetition. You go ahead, I'll come and show you how to finish this and also start our next row again. So I'm right here, almost at the end of my row 3. So as you can see, I worked my single crochet and double crochet. So I will skip the next stitch and into my very last stitch. Remember, we are only going to work just one single crochet, and that's all. So we finished the third round. So moving to the next, just the repetition. You chain one and turn into the first stitch. I'm going to work a single crochet and a double crochet. Single crochet, you skip the next stitch and move to the next one. This is the next stitch, the double crochet stitch. I'll skip that and move to the next stitch, which is a single crochet stitch. Okay, single crochet and a double crochet, single and double. So we will go ahead and keep repeating this until you get to the end. And when you get to the end, you chain one and turn, and you go ahead and keep repeating this pattern. Remember, the total length I want to work with is 17. So I'll keep working this until I have about 9 inches. That's almost half of my total length. So if you are working with, if you want to work 20 inches for the total length of your dress, then 20 divided by 2 is 10, yeah? So you're going to, so you add 1 more inches to that 10, that would be 11. So you keep going until you have around 11 inches. Then the remaining 9 inches is going to be for the upper parts. I hope that makes sense. So that would be the total. This method is applicable for if you are working, if your dress is below, is okay, before the nail. from the nail upward, but if it's below, then you need to adjust it. So your total length, your dress length divided by 2. So whatever you have, you had, whatever your answer is, you had 1 inches to it. So that will be the total length of this thing you're going to be making. For me, remember, it's 17 inches, my total dress length. So I'll keep going until 17 divided by 2. So that's around 8.5. Yeah. So with 1 inches, that would be 9.5. But I think I did around 9 inches. But this, you can work with this formula. This is more, I would recommend this. Whatever your answer is, add 1 inches to it. But if you want it shorter, then you can easily customize or adjust this to any of your to your desired distance. So I will go ahead, I'll keep going until I have my 9 inches. So if your dress is going to be below the nail, this is not applicable to you. You will need to just figure it out on your own. So when I have my 9 inches, we are going to start working on the reduction of the waist. So I'll come and show you how to do that. So here I have 12 rows, but for my actual back panel, I did a total of 30 rows with my single crochet row included. So from my single crochet row up to the last row I did before I started my reduction was 30 rows in total. That gave me the 9 inches I wanted. So yours might be different from mine depending on the length you need to make before we get to the waist. So that being said, right now we are going to start making the reduction. Please pay close attention. So after working my last stitch, you're going to chain 1 and turn. So you're going to work your very first stitch like you would normally do. Work a single crochet, then you add a double crochet inside. So now to work our reduction, of course you are going to skip the next stitch like we would normally do, and into the next stitch, remember we always work a single crochet and a double crochet, right? But instead of working that double crochet inside that same space, you are going to skip the next stitch just like we always do, and into the next single crochet you are going to work your double crochet there. Okay, let me take that again. So after working your first set like you would normally do, so you are going to skip the next stitch just like we normally do for our Suzette stitch. So into the next stitch, which is the single crochet, remember we always do a single crochet and a double crochet, but instead of working that double crochet into that same stitch, we are not going to do that. We are going to skip the next stitch like we normally do, and we work the double crochet in the next single crochet stitch. I hope this makes sense. So you now work, instead of working Suzette stitch here, Suzette stitch here, we only worked just one Suzette stitch into two this thing. I hope you get that. So we just made our first reduction. So you go ahead and continue working your normal. You skip the next stitch and into the next single crochet, you work a single crochet and go into that same stitch and work a double. Into the next, you are going to skip the next stitch, into the next single crochet, work a single crochet and a double crochet. You skip the next stitch, into the next one, you work a single crochet and a double crochet. Again, you skip the next into the next stitch, work a single crochet and a double crochet. So you will go ahead and keep repeating this until you have 3 groups of Suzette stitch, until you have 3 left. So I'm going to show you how to make, because we are going to be, of course we are making the waist, so you are going to be reducing on both ends, the right and the left side. So I have my 3 stitches left. So what you are going to do now, we are going to repeat the same thing here. So you work a single crochet in the next stitch. Instead of working your double crochet, you are not working your double crochet there. You are working your double crochet in the next single crochet row. You skip your next double crochet and into the single crochet, you work your double crochet inside. Then into your final stitch, like we normally do, you work just one single crochet into your final stitch. So this is what we have. As you can see, that is getting curvy already, like it's slanting inward. So after working that, you are going to chain 1 and turn. So for this next round, we are only working our normal Suzette stitch, no decrease. For the next 2 rounds, actually, is it 2 or 3? I think 3 rounds. Okay, it's 2 rounds, not 3. For the next 2 rounds, we are working our regular stitches. So into the very first single crochet, just like we normally do, work a single crochet and a double crochet. You move to the next stitch, you skip the next stitch, and into the next single crochet, you work a single crochet and a double crochet. You skip the next stitch, into the next single crochet, you work a single and a double. Again, you work a single and a double. Remember to do your skipping, or skip the next to the single crochet, you work a single and a double, just like that. Skip the next stitch, into the next single crochet, you work a single and a double. Skip the next single crochet, the next double crochet, and into this next single crochet, which is this, you work your single and your double. And my very last stitch, you work your single crochet into the last stitch. So this is what we have. As you can see that we have reduced, it look like reduced already. So I'm going to work the next row. This is applicable to all sizes. You work 2 rows in between each decrease, depending on how snatched you want the waist to be. Remember, this is for toddler. For me, in case you're making this for adults, then you can go ahead and keep reducing until you have your desired size. But as for me, we are going to be reducing 3 times in total. So we've done our first reduction. The next row, we are still working our regular suzette row. Remember, we are going to be having 2 rows of regular suzette stitch. So we've done the first one, we are working the second one. So you skip the next stitch, work your single and double. So I will go ahead and complete this row. Then after that, I'll come and show you how we are going to make our next reduction. So this is what I have. So moving on to the next row, I'll chain 1 and turn, and we are going to start our stitch, work a single crochet, and into that same stitch work a double. So to do our reduction, you skip the next stitch, and into the next single crochet you work a single crochet. Then you skip the next stitch, into the next single crochet you work your double crochet. So we just made our reduction. Then you go ahead, you skip the next stitch, into the next single crochet you would work your normal scissor stitch. You skip the next, you work your normal scissor stitch. You keep repeating until you have three stitches left, until you have 3 groups of this scissor stitch left. You can see I have 1 2 3, I have 3 left. So you're going to work a single crochet, then you skip the next stitch, into the next single crochet you're going to work a double crochet, and into your very last stitch you're going to work a single crochet. So we just did our second decrease. For the third decrease, I'm not going to do it with it, or I can do it with it and just frog it, because if I do that, I'm going to have, I think, just 2 stitches left. 1 2 3 4 5. I'm going to have 3 stitches. Okay, so this is what we have. As you can see, that is curving, like you can see the reduction, like so. You're going to chain 1. Remember, you will go ahead and work 2 rows of regular suzette row, no decrease, just our regular rows. Single double, skip the next stitch, single double. So I will go ahead and work complete my 2 rows. Remember, 2 rows. So after I have my 2 rows, I will come and show you how we are going to work our last decrease. So I'm just going to show you how to do the last decrease. I will not be doing that here because, as you can see, it's going to be very, very small. You can see the eaves, the shape we have. So to work your last decrease, it's just the same way we did our first and second decrease. You chain 1 and you turn, and you start with, you chain 1 and turn, and you start with your normal suzette stitch, which is a single crochet and a double crochet into the same space. So to work your next decrease, you're going to skip the next stitch, and into the next single crochet you work just 1 single crochet. You skip the next stitch, into the next single crochet you work your double crochet. So as you can see, I have 3. You are going to, now you will go ahead and continue working your normal suzette stitch. Skip the next stitch, work a single and a double. So you will go ahead and keep repeating your normal suzette stitch until you have 3 group of scissor stitch left. This is 1, this is 2, and here's the 3rd. So you keep going. As for me, I have the 3 left, 1 2 3. So you do your decrease again. You skip here and into the next single crochet you work a single, and into the next, you skip the next stitch, into the next single crochet you work a double crochet, just like that, and into your very last stitch you just work a single crochet. So as you can see that we have it more reduced. So after that, you chain 1 and turn, and you start working your normal suzette stitch row. You are going to do that for another 2 rows. Single, double, skip the next stitch, you move to the next single crochet, single, double, skip the next stitch, work the next single crochet, single, double, skip the next stitch, next single crochet, single, double. So I just completed one row, so I'll go ahead and add one more, but I'm going to lose this and the last decrease. As you can see, is way too small for me to be doing sample with you. So but for my normal back panel, I reduced 3 times in total. Let me show you that. As you can see that this is more, it's much more bigger. Yeah, so as you can see the decrease, so I reduced, then did 2 rows, reduced, did another 2 rows, reduced and did another 2 rows. So here is what I have. As you can see the shape, the curved shape. So right now, after completing your 2 rows, now we are going to make an increase by the hand, and that will give us the size of our shoulder to shoulder measurement. So after you complete your 2 rows of regular scissor stitch, so now to make our increase, so you're going to chain 1 and turn. So into that very first stitch, remember we always work 1 single crochet and 1 double crochet. Yeah, so after doing that, you will go ahead and add one more stitch, which is, remember if you want to start the next, it's going to be single double, right? So we've done our single double, then you go ahead and add one more single. So you've started another one, right? So we have double crochet left, so you skip the next stitch and move to the next single crochet. So remember we've done a single crochet here, we did single double single, so you're going to start with a double, so that completes the second set. So we have single double, that's the first, we have single double as well, making the second. So you go ahead and work your third one here, which is going to be single double. I hope that makes sense. Let me show you that again. So after chaining 1, you are going to turn. So into your first stitch, like we'd normally do, single crochet and a double crochet. But remember we want to increase, so you go ahead and add one more stitch, which is going to be a single crochet, single crochet. Then after that, you're going to skip the next stitch, and into the next single crochet stitch, you're going to finish your suzette stitch, which is a double. Remember we only did half here, so we did single double, that's a complete suzette stitch, and the next one we did a single crochet, that's half suzette stitch, remaining double crochet to complete that, and we did that here. Then we go ahead into the same stitch here and work our complete suzette stitch. So you have a single and a double. So we increased right here at the end, and after that you skip the next stitch, and into the next one you start working your normal suzette stitch, just 2 stitches, single, double. So when you have 2 stitches left, you are going to repeat the same thing you did here. So this is what you are going to do. You're going to skip the next stitch, and into the second to the last single crochet, you're going to work a single and a double. Remember we want to squeeze in one more extra stitch, so you're going to work a single. Yeah, and into the very last single crochet, remember we only work single crochet inside, and we have an extra single crochet here, so we have a double crochet to complete it. Let me take that again. You keep going with your regular scissor stitch until you have 2 groups left. This is 1, this is 2. So you skip the next stitch like we'd normally do, and into your single crochet you work a single and a double. So you will go ahead and add one extra stitch, which is a single crochet, which is half of a scissor stitch, and to complete that scissor stitch you move into the last single crochet stitch, you work a double crochet, which completes our this scissor stitch. Then you go ahead and work a single crochet, which is the last stitch we normally do. So we increased here and we increased here. I hope that makes sense. Just go ahead and rewind the video if you find it confusing. Honestly, this is the best way I can explain it. I wish there's another way I can explain, but I believe we understand this. So chain 1 and turn. So right now you just go ahead and keep working our normal round, single, then double. You move to you skip the next double crochet, and this is the next single crochet, so you work a single and a double. just like you normally do. Skip the next stitch into the next single crochet, work a single and a double. So I will go ahead and keep repeating this until I get to the very end. So into my very last stitch, I work this single crochet. So if you are making this for an adult and the body shape is an inverted triangle shape, you will need to add more increase, but you will need to work 2 rows before you do your increase, so that the increase is not too sharp, it's not too much. So I'll chain 1 and add 1 more. I'll go ahead and work 1 more row, and I'll come and show you if you need to do more increase. But as for me, as for my own back panel, I did just 1 increase. This is mine. As you can see, I only increased here, which is once, and after that I just went ahead and continued repeating the row until I have the total length I want for my dress. But I'll come back and show you how to do an increase in case you need to increase again. So I've completed the second row, so I will show you how to make an increase again. So to do that, you're going to chain 1 and turn just the same way we did for the first increase. So into your very first stitch, you're going to work a single crochet and a double crochet, and after that you will go ahead and work 1 more stitch, which is a single crochet. You skip the next stitch into the next, you start with a double crochet, then after that you work a single and a double into that same stitch. So then you go ahead and continue working your pattern like you would normally do. Single, double. You continue working all the way until you have 2 groups of your scissor stitch left. So I have my 2 groups left, so you are going to finish with a single crochet, a double crochet. Okay, I'll pick that again, a double crochet, then you go ahead and add 1 more single crochet, and into your very last stitch you're going to work a double to complete this scissor stitch, then you finish with a single crochet like we normally do. So as you can see that we've done another increase there. So you chain 1, turn and work your regular stitches. So you just go ahead, keep going. In case you need to do more increase, keep increasing. And as for me, like I said, I only did 1 increase and I'm fine with it. So I will go ahead, I'll keep going until I have the length, the total length of my dress. Remember, I'm working with 17 inches, so I will keep going until I have my 17 inches. In case you are doing 20 inches, you go ahead until you have your 20 inches. So after that, I'll come and show you what my back panel looks like. Yeah, I know I've shown you my back panel before. So this is what it looks like after making my increase here. So this is the remaining part I did. So I have my total 17 inches. So in case your shoulder to shoulder measurement is a little bit, is maybe half an inch bigger than the actual measurement you want, is totally fine. Even if it's 1 inch, just 1 inch bigger, it is totally fine. So this is the back panel. We are going to set that aside. Now we are going to be working on the front panels. So back to our notebook. So remember our calculation earlier that our front panels, we are going to have 5.25 inches each. So, and remember our dress is overlapping in the front, so we are going to be adding extra, 1.25 or 1.5. The reason why I am doing 1.25 is because I have 2.5 here, so that I can have like a whole number. So if yours is around maybe 5.5 or just 5 inches, just go ahead and add 1.5 inches to it, or 1 inch, depending on how you want your dress. But I don't want it to be too big, too overlaying, so I'm working with 1.25 inches extra. That will be the part that will be overlaying each other in the front. So 5.25 plus 1.25, so that gives me 6.5. So each flap in the front is going to be 6.5 inches long. Do you get? So if you are making for an adult, a bigger size, maybe around 5 years old, I'll suggest you don't work with anything less than 1.5 inches extra. So whatever you have in your front panels like this, you're going to add 1.5 inches extra. I hope that makes sense. So as for me, I'll be working with 1.25. So my foundation chain for the front panel will be around 6.5 inches long. So I'm going to grab my yarn. So I have 30 chains here. Remember, I want 6.5 inches. So this is what I have. As you can see, I have my 6.5 inches. So after that, we are going to start. It's just the same way with the back panel, but the reduction part is going to be a little bit different. So after chaining, remember your foundation chain must be an even number. So I have 30 chains here. So you're going to skip the first chain, which is this. This is a loop. This does not count as a chain. So this is our first chain. You skip that and into the next. You're going to start working your single crochet. I work single crochet. I'll complete my single crochet, and after that I'll start working my pattern all the way. And remember, I did a total of 30 rows before I start the reduction. So the total number of rows you did before you start your reduction, you're going to repeat the same thing here. So you do the exact same number of rows before you start your reduction. So I will go ahead and start working my pattern until I have 30 rows in total. The same thing I did for the back panel. So when I have my 30 rows, I'll come and show you how we are going to do our reduction. So I have my 30 rows done. This is what it looks like. So right now we are going to start making the reduction. So you need to note something before you make your reduction for the front panels. Make sure that the right side is facing you. For me, my right side is where I have my single crochet row. This is my right side. So make sure it is facing you, because for the front panels, we are not reducing on the same side. Remember, we are having two panels like this. So we are going to reduce at one end here, and we are going to be reducing the second one at this end, so we can have our complete structure. If you reduce here, and when you are doing the second panel, you reduce here as well, you will need to flip it over, and it's not going to be on the right side, unless if you don't mind. Whereas for me, I will suggest you reduce. You are going to, as for me, this is my right side. My first reduction is going to be on this side. So I'm going to work all my way. I work my way all the way to this side, then make my reduction. So if I'm making the second piece, I'm going to start my reduction here instead of working all the way here. I hope that makes sense. So we are going to go ahead and start working. So I'll go ahead and start working my row. So when I have when I have three groups of my suzette stitch left, 1, 2, 3. When I have 3 left, I'll come and show you how to do our reduction. It's just the same way we did for the back panel, but I'll come back and show you how to do it. So I have my 3 groups left. This is where I'm going to work my reduction. So here we need a stitch marker. So to do our reduction, just like we did for the back panel, I'll go into the next stitch. I'll work a single crochet, just one single crochet. Then I'll skip the next. Into the next stitch, I'll work a double crochet. So I just did my reduction, and into my very last stitch, I'll work a single crochet. So I just did my reduction row. So this is it. In case you are doing the other side, because I'm going to do the other side off cam, so that's why I'm trying to explain it to you now. So if you are doing the other side, instead of ending here, instead of reducing here, you're going to reduce here at the first distance. So you work your first complete suzette stitch, and you start your reduction on the next 2 suzette stitches. So you're going to work it after working your single double into the first stitch, then skip the next stitch, and into the next single crochet you're going to work just one single crochet. You skip the next stitch, and into the next single crochet you're going to work 1 double crochet. So that completes it. Then you go ahead and keep working your regular suzette stitch until you get to the end. So this is where you're going to work all your reduction this side for the next panel, but this panel we are working our reduction here. So I'm going to mark this row, because it can get confusing, so that you can know the side. So I'm marking the side where I did my reduction, so that this will help me to remember that this is the side I'm working my reduction. And after that, I'll chain 1 and turn. Remember, we are working 2 rows of regular suzette stitch after each reduction. So I'll go into my first stitch, work a single and a double. Now go into the next. You skip the next stitch. I'll go into the next single crochet. You work a single and a double. You skip the next stitch. You work into the next single crochet. You work a single and a double. So I will go ahead, complete this row, and after that I'll work 1 more. So I'll go ahead and complete my 2 rows. When I have that complete, I'll come and show you how to do our reduction again. So I have my 2 rows done, 1, 2. So this is the row where I reduced. So I have my 2 rows done. So to work our next reduction, chain 1 and turn. Remember, our reductions will always be on this side. So I'll start with my regular Suzette stitch, single double, then I'll move to the next. I'll skip the next stitch, and into the next single crochet I'll work just 1 single crochet. I'll skip the next, into the next single crochet I'll work just 1 double crochet. So I just did my reduction. Then I will go ahead and start working my regular Suzette stitch, which is single and double into the same stitch. Skip the next, single and double. So I will go ahead, complete this row. Then after that I will go ahead and work 2 more rows. I'll go ahead and work 2 more rows. I'm going to mark this because the rows can actually be confusing, so I'll be sure that I've completed my 2 rows. So I'll complete this and I'll go ahead and work 2 rows, and after that I'll come back and show you how to work our last decrease. So I've done my what's it called now, 2 rows. So to work my last reduction row, I'm going to start working my Suzette stitch. I'll start working my row until I have 3 groups left. Then I'll come and show you how we are going to make our reduction. So I have 3 groups of the Suzette stitch left. So to work my last decrease, so I'll skip the next stitch, and into the next single crochet I'll work just 1 single crochet. I'll yarn over, I'll skip the next double crochet, into the next single crochet I'll work just 1 double crochet, and into my last stitch I'll work a single crochet. So we just reduced, just did our 3rd reduction. So after this I will go ahead and work my 2 rows of regular Suzette rows, chain 1, turn, and into my single crochet we start with single, double. So I will go ahead and complete 2 rounds just like we did for this ones. I'll complete my 2 rounds of regular single crochet of Suzette row, and after that we'll come and make our increase. Remember, we did an increase at the back panel, so our increase also must be on this side. This is where we decrease, this is where we must increase. So as you can see, this is what we have. As you can see, where we have our decrease. So I'm going to remove my stitch markers. I think I'm done with them. So right now we are going to work our increase, and we are only increasing here as well, just this place. That's where we are increasing, and this is what we are going to do. Into chain 1 and turn. Into that very first stitch, remember, you do a single and a double, and after that you go back into that same stitch and add 1 more single. Then you skip the next stitch, into the next one you start with a double, you work a single and add 1 more double. So we just added 1 extra Suzette stitch in between. So after that you just start working your regular Suzette stitch. Skip the next stitch, single, double, skip the next stitch, single, double. So I'll just go ahead, complete this, and after that chain 1, turn, and start working my regular Suzette row. No more increase for me, but if you did more than 1 increase for the back panel, then you need to do the same number of increase, but remember that you are doing the increase on just one side. But as for me, I did only just 1 increase, and I've done that. So after that I will go ahead and keep working my regular Suzette row until I have the same number of rows I have with the back panel. After that I will come and show you what my piece looks like. Oh no, this is what I will do. I will go ahead and make my second piece. Yeah, so you will go, after completing this, you will go ahead and repeat this exact same thing with the other side, but the only difference will be, instead of starting your decrease when your right side is facing you, instead of starting your decrease here, you are going to start your decrease here. Make sure that the right side of your work is facing you. So with our right side facing us, we started our decrease here, right here. So if I want to work the second panel, I've explained how to do it earlier. So with the right side facing me, I'm going to do my decrease on this side instead of this side. So once I have my 2 panels with the right side facing me, they are going to be placed. The decrease will be on these sides. I hope that makes sense. So when I have my 2 panels done, I will come and show you what they look like, and we are going to start working on our sleeves. So I have my 2 pieces for the front panel. I have it done. Look at what we have. Look at what we have now. You can see these are the right side, the right side facing me, and I have the reduction for this side and the reduction on this side. So this is what we have. Look at that. Our blazer is coming together. Look at that shape. I love it. So, and I hope you have your two pieces as well. So I am going to set this aside. So what we have left to do before joining is we are going to make our pockets and the sleeves. Okay, we are starting with the sleeve first. So to avoid repetition, you are going to work. Let me grab my notes. The sleeve, the armhole for the size I'm making is 9.5. I'm doing for size 6 to 12 months. If you are doing for 12 to 18 months, the armhole measurement is 10 inches. 0 to 6 months, the armhole measurement is 9 inches. So we had few other sizes to the size charts you have on the screen. So you are going to make a chain that is 9.5 inches long. That's the size I'm making. So you are going to make for the size you are making. So after doing that, you start working your pattern like you would normally do. You start with your single crochet row. Then after that, you start your suzette pattern. And the full length of the sleeve I'm making is sleeve length is 12 inches. But as you can see, what we have on the thumbnail, that our sleeve is not big, it is fitted. So we are going to go ahead and continue making our suzette pattern until I have about 3.5 inches, 3.5 inches before I start my reduction. So you need the wrist measurement as well. So the wrist measurement for the size I'm making is, the wrist measurement is 5.5 inches. So we are going to keep, after working up to 3.5 inches, we are going to start our reduction. We keep reducing. Remember, we are starting with 9.5, so we keep reducing all the way until we have 5.5 inches. I hope that makes sense. So if you are doing for 0 to 6 months, the sleeve length should be around 10 to 11 inches. So instead of doing up to 3.5 inches, you might just need to do 3 inches before you start your reduction. And for 12 to 18 months, instead of doing 3.5 inches, you might need to do up to 4 inches or 4.25 before you start your reduction. This totally depends on the length of the sleeve you're making. So I will go ahead, start my sleeves until I have 3.5 inches. After I get to my 3.5 inches, we are going to start making the reduction together. So I have my 3.5 inches. I said my armhole measurement is 9.5. As you can see, I have my 9.5 here. And the number of chains I made was 40. I started with 40. Remember, your foundation chain must be even number, must be an even number. So I started with 40 and I started working my pattern. And I have my 3.5 inches. As you can see, 3.5 inches. So I did a total number of 12 rows, including my single crochet. So I have 12 rows in total. So right now we are going to start making our reductions. So to do that, I'm going to count the total number of the suzette group stitch that I have here. These groups here, I'm going to count the total number because we want to be reducing only in the middle, in the center. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I have 19 in total. So 19 divided by 2. So that's, I think, 9.5, yeah. So we are going to start, since we want to do our reduction in the middle. So I will chain 1 and turn, and we start working our suzette stitch. So single, then double. So this is 1. I'll skip the next stitch and move to the next single crochet, single and double. So I will go ahead and keep repeating this until I have 9 of this in total. And after completing 9, I'll come and show you how we are going to do our reduction. So I have 9 done. So this totally depends on your total number of your stitches. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now to work our reduction, it's just the normal way we did our reduction earlier. So you are going to skip and work a single crochet like you normally do. Then you skip the next and complete the suzette stitch by working a double crochet in the next single crochet stitch. So just like that, we've done our reduction. Then you go ahead, skip the next stitch and move to the next and start working your normal suzette stitch, single and double, single and double. You see this very row where we just made the reduction? I'm going to mark that. You need to mark it to be very, because after each reduction we'll go ahead and work 3 rows of regular suzette stitch, no reduction. So after completing 3 rows, we go ahead and make another reduction. So that's how we keep going until we have the total length of our sleeve. So I hope my explanation is well understood. So I'll just go ahead and finish this up. So after finishing up, I will go ahead and work 3 rows of our regular suzette stitch, no reduction, just regular 3 rows. So I would suggest that you mark every row where you reduce so that you can know if you've completed your 3, because this what's it called, this stitches can be quite confusing to count. That's for me though. I don't know, you don't find it confusing, but for me, I find it a little bit confusing, especially after making reduction, because you can hardly notice it. So I've marked this. After completing it, I'll go ahead and work 3 rows. After completing 3 rows, I'll come and show you how to make a reduction, another reduction. Then we go ahead and continue the remaining on our own until we have the length of our sleeve. So I have worked my 3 rows. This was the row where I reduced. So I've done 1, 2, 3. Sorry, this was where I reduced. So I've done 1, 2, 3. So I've completed 3 rows. So we are making another reduction. I'll chain 1 and turn. I'll start working my suzette stitch. I will go ahead until I have 8 groups in total. Then I'll come and show you how to make the reduction again. So I have 8 groups done. So I'm going to mark that row as well. So right now I'll do my reduction. So I'm going to skip the next stitch as usual, then move to the next single crochet row. I'll work just the single crochet, skip the next stitch, and into the next single crochet row stitch I'll work a double crochet. So we just made our reduction. Then I'll go ahead and continue working my regular suzette stitch. So I will go ahead and complete this. After completing it, I will chain 1, turn, and go ahead and work 3 regular rows with no decrease. And after that, I'll make another decrease. Just make sure that your decrease is around the center. So I will go ahead and keep repeating this until I have my 12 inches. So after every 3 rows, I'll make a reduction. After every 3 rows, I'll make a reduction. So when I have my 12 inches done, I will come and show you what. Do not fasten off, because we are going to do our final row. So I'll come and let you know what to do. And also what we have left to do is to make our pockets, and after that we are going to join our pieces together and our dress will be ready. So this is what I have after working my sleeve. As you can see that shape. So I kept reducing in the middle, and this is what I have. So I reduced 7 times in total. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I removed 2 stitch markers at the top, so I reduced 7 times. And I have my 5.5. Actually, the wrist measurement I needed was 5 inches, so I added 0.5 to it, so making 5.5 inches. So this is what we have. So right now, the final row that we'll be making will be a single crochet row, so that we can have a clean finishing at the edge of our sleeve. So I'll chain 1 and turn. Now start. Actually, like this, I did a total of 40 rows. So after turning, I'll just go ahead and work 1 single crochet into each and every of my stitches, no skipping. So next stitch, I'll work a single, next stitch, a single, next stitch, a single. So I'll go ahead and work a single crochet in all stitches until I get to the end. So after completing my single crochet, I'll chain 1 and I'll fasten off. And this is what I have. So we go ahead and repeat the exact thing for my second sleeve. Make sure you have the same number of row and the same number of stitches. So when I have the second one done, I'll come and show you what the two looks like. So these are the 2 sleeves. This is one, and this is the second. So it's going to be like this. So this will be attached to the top of our dress. So this is what we have. So I'm going to set these 2 aside, and the last one we'll be making before we start joining is our pockets. So the wideness of my pockets, I want 3 inches. So right here I chained 14. So as you can see, I have my 3 inches. So I have 14 chains. Remember, that's an even number, so you need an even number. Now go ahead and work my single crochet row, skipping the first chain. So we end up having 13 single crochets in total. So after working my 13 single crochets, we are going to work our pattern, our normal Suzette pattern, single, then double, skip the next, single, then so I will just go ahead to avoid repetition. I'll go ahead and work my Suzette stitch. I'm going to repeat my Suzette stitch 4 times. So I'm going to have 4 rows of my Suzette stitch, and with my single crochet that will make it 5 rows in total. So because the total length I want for the pocket should be around 1.5 inches, because we are still going to work a single crochet round, so I don't want the total size of the total length of the pocket, I don't want it to exceed 2 inches. But remember, we are having 4 in total, so if it's too big, too long, it's going to look busy and not going to look beautiful as I wanted. So as for me, I'll be doing 4 rows of the Suzette stitch, so including the single crochet, making 5 rows in total. So when I have this done, I'll come and work the edging with you. So I have my 5 rows done in total, including my single crochet row. So as you can see, it's less than 2 inches. So if I work my single crochet row, I will arrive at the 2 inches that I want. So I chained one, I'll fasten off. And one thing is, I want my single crochet row to be in the front, to be on the right side. So I'm going to join my yarn here at this point. So I made a slip knot, and I'll grab the pocket and join here, right here. I'll join here, make a chain, then I'll move to the next piece here, work a single crochet, that's 1. I'll move to the next 2, move to the next 3, and the last row here 4. So I did 4 single crochets. Now I'll go into the very stitch here, the first stitch here, and I'll work 2 single crochets inside that stitch. That's a corner, so we need to move to the side. So I worked 2 single crochet inside, then I'll go into all of my stitches and start working 1 single crochet. And after that, when I get to the end here, the last stitch here, I'll work 2 single crochets as well. Now I'll go ahead and work 4 single crochets by the side. When I get to the end, I'll chain 1 and fasten off. Actually, we need to leave a long tail because we'll be using that to sew the pockets to the dress. So after completing that, I slip stitch into the foundation chain. After that, I'll chain 1 and I'll fasten off. Like I said, I'm going to leave a long tail for sewing. So this is what we have. So we go ahead and make 3 more. We need 4 in total. So I will go ahead and make my 3 pieces. So as you can see, I have my 4 pieces done. So I'm going to set them aside and we are going to start joining our pieces together. So right now, to start our joining, we are going to start with joining our panels together around the shoulder. So this is the back panel. I'll make sure that this is the right side, so I'll make sure the right side is facing down. Okay, sorry, the right side is facing up. Sorry. Now I'll grab the first piece and I'll make sure the right side, which is this, is also facing down. So this will be here, it aligns with this side. And also the second piece, this is the right side as well. I'll make sure it's facing down. So I'll join it here. So this is what it looks like. The right sides are facing each other. So you are going to be joining at the top here on the shoulder. That's why we'll be joining first. So to join, remember that for the extended parts, I did 1.25. Yours might be different. Yours might be 1.5. So 1.25, and also we are going to be adding 2 inches. So in total, we are going to measure 3.25. So if you are doing for 0 to 12 months, you are going to use the same thing. You remove 3.25 in total. But if you are doing for bigger size and you did 1.5 inches for the extended part, so 1.5 plus 2 inches, that will give you 3.5. Or if the size is around, what's it called now, 12 to 18 months, with your 1.5, you are now going to add you're going to add 2.5 to it. So that will give you a total of 4 inches. It's 4 inches you are going to remove. That's for bigger size. But for this size that I'm doing, the 1.25 I added in the front plus 2 inches, so that's 3.25. So to measure that, right here at the top here, so this 3 inches, 1 2. So I'm going to stop here this second, right there. And another thing is, my last rows here at the top, I forgot to mention, I'm going to add it on the screen. Make sure that you finished on the wrong side, because when we start working the collar, we are going to turn to the right side and start working. Because if you have to, what's it called now, if you finish on the right side and you want to start the collar on the right side, it might mess up our pattern. So just a suggestion. So this is where I marked. So I will do the same thing for this other piece. 1 2. I'll make sure that I count to be very sure that it's the same number of stitches. So this here is where we are going to join. This and this is where we are going to join. We are going to be, this will be the neckline, as you can see. Yeah, so this is going to be the neckline. So this is going to fold out like this. So we are going to be joining with single crochets. So I have this yarn tail here at the end. So here is what I'm going to do. I'll grab the first stitch here by this side, and also the first stitch here. I'll grab the yarn tail, and if you are joining with a new yarn, you will have a slip knot on your yarn, and you just go ahead and repeat the same thing. So I'll pass that and make a chain. So I've joined. So we are going to start with single crochet. I'll go back into that same stitch in the front and into the same stitch at the back and work a single crochet. I'll move to the next. I'll enter the next stitch in the front and the next stitch at the back, work a single crochet. The same stitch in the front, the next stitch at the back, work a single crochet. So I will go ahead, repeat this. I will stop right on top of my stitch marker, fasten off, and I'll do the same thing for the other side. So this is what I have after joining the shoulder, and this is our neckline. For me, I joined 12 stitches on each side, and I have now 3.5, almost 4 inches left. So that's the neckline, and the next one we'll be joining, okay, still in this position. The next one we'll be adding is our sleeves. Make sure you are still turned on the wrong side. So I'm going to grab my sleeves. These are the sleeves, and also you have to note that you see where we did our last single crochet, make sure that the right side is facing down, because that's where we want to be, on the right side. So this is my single crochet row, as you can see. So I'll make sure that's facing down, and we'll be joining like this. Same goes with this as well. This is the right side. I'll make sure it's facing down like this. So this is 9.5, remember. So here's what we are going to do. I'll grab my measuring tape. 9.5 divided by 2, that should give me around 4 point something, 4.25. So this is 4.25, around that. So 9.5 here. So I'm going to mark here and mark my 9.5 here, and after that I'm going to count and make sure that it's the same number of rows on each panel. Remember, this is the front, this is the back. So I'm going to mark this right here, and also mark this 9.5 here. It's 9.5. I'm going to mark that row as well. Now go ahead, I'll count to make sure that it's the same number of rows, and I'll do the same thing for the second side as well. So I marked 16 rows here, 16 rows here, 16 here, 16 here. So this is what I have. So right now you have to consider one thing: 16 here, 16 here, making 32. Yeah, and remember, for my sleeve I started with chain 40, and I have 39 stitches in total. So 32, 39. We have more stitches on the sleeves than the body, so we are going to be entering 2 of these to 1 of these at some point, so that we can evenly distribute our stitches. Because if we start doing, because we are going to be working one single crochet for each row into each stitch, if we follow through like that, we are going to have some stitches left on the sleeves. So here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to work, after working 4 single crochets, my next stitch, which will be the 5th stitch, I'm going to enter. After entering my 5th stitch together, the 6th stitch from the sleeve will go back into the same stitch in the front. Let me demonstrate that for you so that you don't get confused. So I'm going to do the first sleeve with you, then you go ahead and do the remaining yourself. So this is my stitch here, the row I marked here, right here. Now go into the first stitch here in the sleeve. So I'll go right in, I'll pull through, and I will chain 1 to secure that. Then you're going to start. So I'll go back into that same row. Now I'll go back into the same stitch at the back and work my first single crochet. So that's 1. The next row, this is the next row. I'll go right in. Now I'll go into the next stitch at the back, which is this. That's 2. I'm going to the next stitch here in the front and the next stitch at the back. That's 3. Going to the next stitch here, the next stitch at the back. That's 4. So now the next here is what I'm going to do. I'll go back into the same stitch here, then go into the next stitch at the back to work the 5th one. 5. So I worked 2 stitches from here to 1 stitch here because we have more stitches at the back. So that's what you are going to keep repeating, and when you notice that you have the same number of stitches at the back, then you will stop doing it. Actually, you are going to be doing this for around maybe 6 times or so. So depending on the difference between your stitches. So you go 1, you pick the next stitch at the back, 1, you pick the next stitch, 2, you pick the next stitch at the back, 2. I'm trying to hide this end along. You pick the next stitch, 3, pick the next stitch, 3, you pick the next stitch, 4, you pick the next stitch, 4, and the 5th one you go back into the same stitch on the panels on the body, then you go into the next stitch on the sleeve. 6. So that's how I will keep going until I have this completely joined, and I'll go ahead and repeat the same thing for my second sleeve. So this is what I have my sleeves joined on the shoulder. So right now, still on the wrong side, we are going to be joining the body. We're going to be starting from the sleeves. So we are going to fold our sleeves just like that. Then we are going to join. We are going to start joining from here all the way to the armpits, then all the way to the body until we get right here. So that's how we are going to be joining the 2 sides. So I'll show you how to start the first one. So you go ahead and finish it and also proceed to finishing the second side. So for the joining, we are going to be working 1 single crochet for each row. So right here, the single crochet row, the edge, go through both sides and I'll join. I'll chain 1 and go back into that same stitch and work a single crochet inside. I'm going to be hiding these ends along. So that's 1. I'll go into the next row here in the front and the next row here at the back and work a single crochet. So just 1 single crochet for each row. This is the next stitch here and this is the next stitch at the back. The next row, I'll work a single crochet. This is the next row and this is the next row at the back. Work my single crochet. Again, this is my next row in the front, this is my next row at the back, work a single crochet. And I will go ahead and keep repeating this all the way. I'll do the same thing when I get to the armpits and just continue joining. I'll join all the way till I get to the hand here. When I get to the hand, I'll chain 1 and fasten off, and I'll repeat the same thing for the second side. So when I have the two sides joined, we will come and work on our collar. So this is what the inside looks like. Look at that. I joined all the way to the base here, and I repeated the same thing for the second side. So right now we are going to start working on the collar, but before we start that, I'm going to turn this to the right side. So after turning to the right side, this is what it looks like. So to work on the collar, so remember I said our total row for the body, that we should make sure that we finished on the wrong side. So this is it. This is the direction I worked my last row. So I will just start working right here on the right side. So it's going to, the pattern is going to match. It's not going to mess up with our pattern. So that was why I suggested that. So back to the collar. Remember we did extra, I did extra 1.25 for the flap. So we are going to be minusing that. We are going to remove that. So I will go ahead and remove around 1.5 and make sure that the stitch you are marking is a single crochet. It has a double. Okay, so I'll move here a single crochet. So I'm going to be leaving 1 2 3 4 5 6. So I'm leaving 6 stitches. So I entered into the 7th stitch, and that's where I'm going to be working. I'll start working my collar. So I have a slip knot here, so I'll just go into the single crochet stitch. I'll join with a chain. Remember how we always start our pattern? Work a single crochet and then a double crochet. They're just repeating our Z stitch pattern. After that, I'll skip the double crochet and move to the next stitch. Single, trying to hide this along, single, then double. I'll skip the next, I'll move to the next single crochet, single, then double. I'll skip the next, I'll move to the next, single, then double. I'll skip here, and the next stitch is this is a double crochet which I'm going to skip. So this is single crochet, this is a double, this is single. So we are going to work on here. We skip this, we move here, right here, work a single and a double. That's our normal way. So I'm moving to the neckline. I'll skip the next double crochet, and this is a single crochet, single, double. So I'll just go ahead and continue working this. When I get to the side, I'm going to move to the other panel, and remember you are going to leave the same number of stitches you left here as the same number of stitches you'll be leaving on this second side. So when I have my first row done, I'll come and show you what next to do. So this is what I have after completing this first row. So moving on to the next couple of rows, we'll just be repeating the same thing. We'll be working our suzette stitch until we have the height of our collar. So after turning, so here's it. I finished with a double crochet, which is not supposed to be. I'll just finish with a single crochet, our normal pattern right there. So I'll chain one and turn. Let's start working our pattern again. Work a single crochet and a double crochet, single crochet, double crochet. I skipped 6 stitches here where I started. I left 6 stitches here as well, so we must balance it up. So I will just go ahead and keep repeating the pattern, single double, single double. When I get to the end here, I'll work just one single crochet. I will chain one and turn, and I will go ahead and keep repeating. For me, I will keep going until I have around 2 inches to 2.5 inches. So for 0 to 12 months, you repeat the same thing, but for up to 18 months, sorry, you repeat the same thing. You repeat it until you have around 2 inches to 2.5 inches, depending on how tall you want your collar to be. So for other sizes, just keep going until you have your desired length for your collar. But remember, make sure it's not too tall. So after we have that, we have few things left to do. We are going to work a single. We are going to clean up. Okay, I'm leaving this like this. I'm not doing anything here. But for this edge, we are going to clean it up. So after completing our collar, that's the next thing we'll be doing before attaching our buttons and pocket. So here's my collar. This is what it looks like, and I think I did 8 8 or 7 rows. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 rows in total, and that gives me around 2 inches. Okay, almost 2.5 inches. So I'm going to chain one and fasten off. So right now we are going to be working single crochet around the entire piece. So we are going to start from here. We are going to start from here. So work single crochet all the way, just like that. Then we get to the collar, then work our single crochet all the way, then on the other side all the way back to this end. So that's how we are going to be working. So I'll grab my yarn and I'll make a slip knot on the base here into that single crochet, that where I made my foundation chain. I will go in, join with the chain, then I'll move here. I'm not working single crochet into that same space. I've moved here, so we just work one single crochet into each row, one single crochet each. That's all we need to do. So one single crochet, single crochet. So I'll work this all the way. When I get to the top here, this corner here, I'll come and show you what to do and how to work this edge here. So I've worked single crochet all the way. Look at that, very clean and sharp. So right here at the top here, I'll go in and work 2 single crochets inside. So going to the stitch, I'll work 2 single crochets, 1 and so that's the corner, so we need to work 2 single crochets in there. So after that, you're going to every of your stitches, working normal or regular single crochet, just like that, all the way. And when you get right here where we start working our corner, when you get to this point, you make a slip stitch. So this is what it looks like. This is what we have. So after that, you now start working on the collar. So each row, I did 7 rows in total, yeah, so I'm going to work 7 single crochets in total. 1 2 3 So after working 7, I'm right here at the top. I'm going to work 2 single crochet into that spot right here at the top, at the corner at the top. So after that, on my collar, I'll just go ahead and work 1 single crochet into each and every of my stitches. So I'll go ahead, I'll work single crochet all the way till I get here. When I get to the last stitch here, I'll work 2 single crochets inside because it's a corner. Then I'll work single crochet all the way here. When I get to this point here, I'll make a slip stitch, then I'll start working a single crochet again. I'll work all the way like this. When I get to this point, I'll work 2 single crochets inside. After that, I'll go ahead and start working single crochet all the way until I get to the very end here. So I'll go ahead and do all of this. When I'm done, we are going to come and attach our buttons and add our pockets. So this is what it looks like after working our single crochet. Look at that finished, that clean finished look. So this is going to go like this. Our collar will go down like that. So this will go like this, just like that. Okay, this will go under and this will come over just like that. So this is what we are going to have. So all we have left now is to put our buttons and the pockets. So I'm going to be sewing my buttons off cam. So as you can see, we are putting 6 buttons in the front. So I'm going to be placing them like this with I think around 3 inches space. So I'm going to be spacing with 3 inches. So I'm going to have it this way. And for the button, I'm going to sew them to the flap under, so that you can just, when you put the button in, the button is going to pass through some of our holes here. That's where it's going to pass through. So that's why I said you shouldn't use a button that is too big, so that it can easily pass through the holes. So I'm going to be attaching the buttons to the to this flap under, so that I can pop out like this from underneath. So I will go ahead and sew my 6 buttons, and I'll come and show you the next thing to do. So this is what it looks like after attaching my buttons. So right now we are going to be adding the pockets. So I have it all buttoned up. So this is what it looks like. So we have our pockets. I'm going to put the first one here, just a little above the second button here, and the second one will go a little above the third button as well. Okay, to go up like that. So I'll repeat the same thing for this side. To put up and directly under. So this is what we are going to have. So let me show you how to sew the first one, then you go ahead and sew the remaining 3. And after that, I'll go ahead and sew my 3 buttons at the back of the sleeve. So thread my needle, so I want to sew on this line. So I'll go right inside, just like that. Now I'll go in here and come out, just like that. Attach to the pocket. You have a better way to feel that you can use. Just go ahead, go in, and come out. I'm not sewing stitch for stitch. I'll just go in and out randomly. And now come out here. Just like that. In, out. So we're only sewing this top. Right here, and that is it. We have this joint, so we are going to leave it like this. So I'll just make a knot, hide these ends, and I'll go ahead and join the remaining 3 pockets. So this is what my complete suit dress looks like. I've weaved in my hands. So okay, this is the collar, this is the top. We have the buttons right here. I have the pockets, and I have the buttons at the end of the sleeves. It's so pretty. You saw it on the mannequin. I love how it turned out, and the color is just so perfect. So yeah, and we have the 2-piece set. In case you've not seen it, in case you've not watched the video, look at that in off-white. It's so pretty. We have the pocket right there, just 1 pocket, and look at that, the details I added. So, and also here is the pants. We added elastic. In case you've not seen it, we have the detailed tutorial on the channel. I'll be adding the link to it at the end of the screen, so you can check it out. So thank you if you find the video useful, which I believe you do. So don't forget to give it a thumbs up, drop a comment, and next week, I don't know, we should be, is it that we are making something for the men, the boys, or we are adding a beret to our dress? Either of the two. I've not decided yet, but then I believe you enjoyed the tutorial, and until next week, bye.